Right now we have Prophet John Gray with us from Voice to the Nations, and they are in Griffin, Georgia. He's going to come and share some testimony with us tonight. Let's welcome him to Atlanta Live. All right.
Amen.
Welcome, my brother.
Glad to be here.
Good to have you. Good to have you. Voice to the Nations. I think I've seen that on WATC TV right here.
Yes, sir. We currently, my bishop, he's on every Monday night at 6:30.
Wonderful.
Just doing a great work for God down there.
Well, let's start out. Tell us a little of your testimony. How did you come to know the Lord?
Well, it was kind of a hard process. Some people learn by just listening. I had to learn the hard way and just hit rock bottom.
I don't know anyone that has learned by just listening. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, I think I might have learned by listening.
Well,
I was a pretty good kid.
Yeah, but my wife is a wonderful test. She never hit nothing, never run into nothing. She just did what she was, and that is an amazing testimony, if you ask me. But I went through a terrible divorce early in my life, and when my wife left, she took pretty much everything we owned, and I was left with just a little apartment and a kitchen floor. And in fact, my bishop, Andrew DeLee, and a couple of his friends was doing a street ministry, and they had witnessed to me a couple of nights before.
Wow. And
while I was at home, in my kitchen floor with nothing left, I gave my heart to Christ and got saved. And it's just been an amazing journey ever since. I say Bishop Andrew. He used to be my friend, and he used to be Andrew to me, but now he is. It's just amazing how God has risen him up in the faith, and he's just a bishop of the house, and we love him. We love him.
So he was. You were friends in the world before you both knew Christ,
right?
And so he came to faith. And how long after he came to faith did you surrender your life?
Maybe just a couple years, if that.
Wow.
Not quite that long. Those guys just got in prayer and hit the streets with the gospel, and wow, it's God. He's doing a mighty work in Griffin, Georgia. It's been a lot of transition going on throughout my life, but he has set Voice to the Nations up in stone and just using that house to reach. We're a lot like Pastor Allen's church, where House of Thomas is from. We're real simple. We're real folks. We're authentic, and I think that's where a lot of times we as a church we miss things when we try and be so attractive that we lose being authentic, being real. And Christ said, if I'm lifted up, I'll draw all men into him. And so we're just lifting God up, and he's just bringing people in, and we're packing out, and it's an amazing thing. It really is.
Well, to have the choir in place, to have the preacher in place, to have the children's ministry in place, and to have the pews and the people in place, that's all wonderful. But if God's not in the house,
come on. Yeah.
What's the point?
What
do we might as well go down to the Elks Club or something and hang out and
shut the doors and cut the lights out.
That's right.
That's awesome.
So God's in the house down there at Voice to the Nations.
Wow.
What are some of the things that you're experiencing in your worship services?
Worship. Wow. We are just it's kind of unique, really. We got a wonderful worship leader, our worship pastor, Pastor Dana Blanks. She does an amazing job at leading our house, and for some reason, about a year or two ago, Bishop just said, "I'm gonna get in them altars and worship God," and he don't sit on the chair up on the platform or anything, which that's okay if you do that, but just he got in them altars and started worshiping God during worship, and now almost half the church, if not all the church, is in the altars during worship. And then when it's time for the word, we all sit back down and let Bishop go at it. But it's an amazing thing that God has done in the worship at Voice of the Nations. We just get after God. We seek His face, and He moves every time we open the doors.
Go ahead.
What's exciting about that testimony is there's so many churches here in the Atlanta area that the music segment is an entertainment. It's a concert,
Wow.
and there's no one singing. There's no one entering in. There's, you know, one of the greatest testimonies I think during a worship segment is people getting saved before the preacher preaches.
Oh, come on, man.
And people getting healed before anybody says come.
That's
and,
right.
and the altars are open. So what a testimony, because people can enter in.
Yes, yes, that's exactly what God is doing. He just starts moving before. I mean, we have church out. I guess you can start out in the parking lot is where our church starts at, and God really does. And we don't take that lightly around Voice of the Nations. We are very honored, and we, in fact, we find no reason for God to show up on our behalf, because we are just the lowest of low, in my opinion, as far as community-wise. There's a lot greater and stronger and more knowledgeable people I feel God could use, but He chooses to use the foolish to confound the wise sometimes. But it's a blessing to be in that house and see God move like He is.
Well, the Bible says not too many righteous, not too many noble. But God uses the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. You know something about your pastor, that you said, your bishop, that as he came to the altar, other people were coming to the altar and during your worship service, and they're basically doing what he does, and that's what leadership is. Leadership is influencing people to engage. So if you want people to worship and lift their hands at your altars, it'd be a good thing for the minister to do that. If you want them to have a little dance at the altar or whatever, or get a little excited, a little hop in their pew, you know, however you do it, then you know that's what the minister do, because the people watch to see how the minister responds to worship.
I really think that's what transformed the whole worship segment at Voice of the Nations, because we're affiliated or up under the covering of Trinity, up under Bishop Boland and the great job they're doing there. And they taught our bishop early on that the minister of music is not your worship leader, you are. And if you don't worship, they won't worship. So he's caught on to that, jumped in there, and just got hard after God, and the people follow. It is great.